Yeah, good afternoon, Aryan, Abhinav,
Good afternoon, sir.
Jane, Jessica, Kushi Jain, Muskan, Pratham Kapoor, and remaining all. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So today we'll be starting the topic, the first topic, ratio and proportions. Ratio and proportions. So last class, what we have seen is we have seen the detailed picture outline of how that the course will be covered, what way we are going to assess your the performance. So all the things that we have discussed, how what way this the course outcomes are related to the program outcomes, all those stuff that we have seen in the last class. Now coming to today's lecture, we'll just concentrate on the topic ratio and proportions. So it's a very interesting and the easy topic. If you have any doubt, please stop me at any moment so that I'll try to explain uh, the doubts that you raise. So coming to the ratio, the definition, a comparison of the two quantities using a factor. Using a factor, it is called a ratio. In normal sense, if you wanted to explain, it's a kind of comparison between two quantities. So here, if you see the textbook, the definition of a ratio, the word to separate the numerator and denominator quantity of a given two quantities, it is called a ratio. So I mean, the ratio 12 to 17, it translates as 12 divided by 17. 12 divided by 17. Let us see that in detail in the next slide. So as I mentioned, the definition wise, the ratio means the word that separates the numerator quantity with the denominator quantity. It is a ratio. I repeat, the word which separates the numerator quantity and the denominator quantity, it is called a ratio. Now suppose if I ask a question, what is the ratio of 12 to 17? If you ask a question, what is the ratio of 12 to 17? It actually means that it is 12 divided by 17. It actually means that it's 12 divided by 17. Here the 12, whatever the quantity that we are going to put it on the top, it is called the numerator. The quantity that we are going to write in the bottom, it is called a denominator. So I mean, the ratio of 12 to 17 or ratio of 12 and 17, it is 12 divided by 17. Now there is another definition which is relevant to this ratio, that is a unit ratio. Unit ratio is nothing but if in this fraction or in the numerator divided by denominator part, if the denominator happens to be 1, if the denominator happens to be 1, it is called a unit ratio. So that is the definition. A ratio with the denominator 1, it is called a unit ratio. So if I go back to this example, 12 divided by 17 over here, it is not a unit ratio. So why it is not a unit ratio means we have the denominator which is not equal to 1. So we have the denominator 17 over here in 12 divided by 17. If in place of 17, if I find 1 there, then I would have called this ratio as a unit ratio. I would have called this ratio as a unit ratio. So I repeat, we have started with the definition of a ratio. If you wanted to define a ratio, it is a word which separates the numerator part and the denominator part. The ratio of 12 and 17 or ratio of 12 to 17 is denoted by 12 divided by 17, where 12 is called the numerator, 17 is called the denominator in this form of the numericals. 12 is called the numerator, 17 is called the denominator. If in place of 17, if you find 1 there, unity, then this ratio, it is called a unit ratio. So these are the two definitions, two basic definitions that we have learned till now. So moving ahead, so how to find the ratio? So what way this ratio we can see in the routine life. Suppose if you consider on this example, a bin at a hardware store contains 120 washers and 85 bolts. So there is a hardware shop. In that hardware shop, you can find a different bins there. In one of the bins, there is a 120 washers were there and with 85 bolts. There are 120 washers and 85 bolts. Now, suppose if the question is, write the ratio of the washers to the bolts. Write the ratio of the washers to the bolts. Whenever if you are finding 2, whatever comes after 2, the word 2, that count would come under the denominator. That always you have to remember. If you go back and if you see the definition there, ratio of 12 to 17, 12 to 17, 17 where we have put that 17 in the denominator. That way, there is a hardware shop in which a bin is there. In that bin, we have 120 washers and 85 bolts. Now, they are asking us to find the ratio of the washers to the bolts. Washers to the bolts. So after 2, I could find the bolts there. So what is the bolt count in this example? What is the bolt count in this example? How many bolts were there? I hope you are with me. How many bolts were there in that bin?
85.
85 bolts were there. Okay. So I am going to put that 85 in the denominator if I find in the ratio. Okay. The first part is over. So what is that? I'll read the problem again and again so that I'll get a clear picture what I wanted to calculate. Right. So 120 washers were there, 85 bolts were there. I want to find the ratio of the washers to the bolts. To the bolts count I have written in the denominator. You see here 85 I put there in the denominator. How many washers were there? 120 were there. So whenever if you are finding the ratio of the washers to the bolts, I'll have to take the fraction washers divided by bolts. I'll have to take the fraction washers divided by bolts. There are 120 washers were there, 85 bolts were there. Ratio of washers to the bolts would become 120 divided by 85. So if you cancel out this with a 5 table, we'll get a simplest form of the answer as 24 divided by 17. So as far as this question is concerned, 120 divided by 85 is also a correct answer. It is also a correct answer. 120 divided by 85 is the correct answer. But since if you wanted to calculate the ratio in the simplest form means we'll have to see is there any common factor between those two numbers. If you see 120 and 85, 5 will become the common factor for both these numbers. I can use the 5 table to cancel out 120 with a 5 24 times, 85 I can cancel out with 5 17 times. So the simplest form of the answer or the ratio that I am trying to calculate would become 24 divided by 17. Is there any doubt here in this question? Because we will be going step by step, and intention is that whatever we solve here, most of us should understand. That is only the intention. Is there anything? Do you feel it is difficult to understand?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Then let me slightly change this question. Suppose in this question, in the second sentence, just I am changing the second sentence. Write the ratio of bolts to the washers. Write the ratio of bolts to the washers. If that is the question, what would be the answer?
85 upon 120.
85 upon 120. I think you understood that. Logic
Yes,
you understood?
0.70.
Yeah, that and all that we have the calculator that we anyhow we can calculate. But basic thing is this fraction that we need to able to write. Okay, so the answer to the slightly twisted question, write the ratio of the bolts to the washers would be 85 divided by 120 or 17 divided by 24. Or further, we can use the calculator. We can write the answer in the fraction also. That is also allowed. Okay. So moving ahead. Suppose if I extend this same question, express this ratio 24 divided by 17 as a unit ratio. Express this ratio as a unit ratio. So if I recollect, unit ratio means in that numerator divided by denominator, the denominator should be 1, unity. The denominator should be unity there. So whereas this question is concerned, I could able to find 17 in the denominator. In order to get the unit ratio, I need to make this 17 as a 1. Then only it becomes a unit ratio. Unit ratio means what? If I repeat, if I recollect, unit ratio means the denominator should be 1 there. Since as far as this problem is concerned, I am not getting the denominator as a 1. I wanted to make this denominator as a 1. What I can do is, I can use the calculator. I can divide this 24 by 17. If I divide 24 divided by 17, I'll be getting the answer in our calculator as 1.41. We'll be getting the answer as 1.41. If you have any number, it may be 100 or it may be 125 or any other number. If you are dividing that number by 1, answer is going to be that number only. 125 divided by 1, that is going to be 1. And 100 divided by 1, that is also 100. 125 divided by 1 is how much? 125, no? I think last time I have said it is 1. 125 divided by 1 is 125. Similarly, 1.41 divided by 1 is also going to be 1.41. So if you now concentrate here, 1.41 divided by 1. So this is also a fraction. In this fraction I mean to say, I could able to see the numerator and the denominator. I could able to see the numerator and denominator, in which the denominator is equal to 1. That means it has become a unit ratio now. So therefore, the unit ratio for the unit ratio of washers to the boards is 1.41. That is the answer. Unit ratio of washers to the boards is 1.41. I hope you understood this question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now we'll move on to the next question. Yeah. So the next question: one molecule of glucose contains 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, 6 oxygen atoms. So there is a molecule of glucose. It contains 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms. Let us see if we could able to draw a explain through the diagram better. Yeah. Give me some time. It is taking some time. Yeah. Okay. Just a moment. I'll try. Otherwise, I'll explain in normal way, because right now I don't have the graphic pad. If I have the graphic pad, it would be easy for me. So you will have to bear with me till this month end, because I am not there in Jaipur. This is creating some problem for me. Okay, let it be. So there is a assume that a molecule and all those atoms and all. Let us forget that. So we have a bin. So we have a bin in which 6 carbon or 6 colored balls were there, 12 blue color balls were there, 6 red color balls were there. Assume that way. So there is a bin. A bin contains 6 white balls, 12 black balls, and 6 red balls. Assume that way. So what is the ratio of the hydrogen atoms to the total number of atoms in the molecule? Right. So there is a 6 carbon atoms were there, 12 hydrogen atoms were there, 6 oxygen atoms were there. So in total, if you wanted to count the atoms in that molecule, if you count the total number of atoms 6 carbon atoms were there, 12 hydrogen atoms were there, 6 oxygen atoms were there. In total, 6 plus 12 plus 6. That is 18 plus 6. 24 atoms were there in that one molecule of glucose. So this is the data that we have. So what is that we wanted to calculate here? What is the ratio of the hydrogen atoms to the total number of atoms in that molecule? What is the ratio of the hydrogen atoms to the total number of atoms in that molecule? Just now we have seen there are 24 atoms were there. There are 24 atoms were there irrespective of the carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Out of which I wanted to calculate only the ratio of hydrogen atoms to the total number of atoms. How many hydrogen atoms were there in that molecule?
12.
12 hydrogen atoms were there. So 12 hydrogen atoms irrespective of the hydrogen, carbon and oxygen. In total, how many atoms were there?
24.
24. So therefore, as far as this question is concerned, when I am calculating the ratio of the hydrogen atoms to the total number of atoms, in terms of calculating the ratio of the hydrogen atoms to the total number of atoms, there are 12 hydrogen atoms were there. 12 divided by total number of atoms, that is 12 divided by 24 is the answer. Suppose if I change this question, what is the ratio of the carbon atoms to the total number of atoms in that molecule?
6 by
6 by
24.
24.
6 by 24 is the answer. Similarly, the same answer you can expect if my question changes from hydrogen or oxygen. What is the ratio of the oxygen atoms to the total number of atoms in that molecule?
6 by
Answer
24.
again is going to be 6 by 20.
So 12 by 6, 12 hydrogen and 6 oxygens.
Hydrogen to total 12 by 24. Moving ahead, another question. The price of 10.5 ounce of soup is rupees 1.68. Write the unit ratio that expresses the price to the weight. Okay, the price of 10.5 ounce of soup is rupees 1.68. Write the unit ratio that expresses the price to the weight. So in that fraction, price to the weight that I wanted to calculate, price to the weight. So price would come on the numerator, the weight would come in the denominator. So there are two quantities, two numbers I could able to see in this question. One is 10.5, another one is rupees 1.68. So in these two numbers, 10.5 and 1.68, which one is the price, which one is the weight? Can I get an answer to this? In this 10.5 and 1.68, which one represents the price, which one represents the weight?
So 1.68 is the price and 10.5 is the weight.
Yeah, correct. That is a correct answer. Good. So since I want to calculate the ratio of the price to the weight, so price always come in the numerator, weight would always come in the denominator. So answer is 1.68 divided by 10.5. But I can't take it as an answer because I wanted to calculate the unit ratio. Suppose if the question is write the ratio of the price to the weight, then 1.68 divided by 10.5 would be the correct answer to me. But whereas I am interested in calculating the unit ratio, in finding the unit ratio, I need to make the denominator as a 1. That means the further simplification is required to make the denominator as a 1. So 1.68 divided by 10.5, if you use the calculator, we will get answer as 0.16. I can always write 0.16 as 0.16 divided by 1. In expressing 0.16 as 0.16 divided by 1, it has become a unit ratio for me. Why it has become a unit ratio? Denominator has become 1. So therefore, the answer to this question is 0.16. though it is given in this slide as rupees 16 per ounce, it is 0.16. There is a slight typo error over here. It is 0.16 per ounce. So why we are calling it as a per ounce? Because we made it as denominator as a 1 over here. That means we made it as the quantity in terms of the unit one. We have brought it down to the unit price. Okay. The soup cost would be 0.16 per ounce.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So, but the units are different. So,
yeah.
As per the rules, we should not divide.
Yeah. There is a for certain questions. Yeah, you are right. You are correct. Whenever you are talking about the ratio or the proportion or all those things, we should see that the units are the same. The numerator units and the denominator units are the same. But for certain questions like this, we'll have to neglect that kind of the rule. We'll have to neglect that kind of rule. Otherwise, we can take this question in other way also. We can solve this question in other approach also. 10.5 ounce cost 1.68 rupees. The cost of 10.5 ounce soup.
So unitary method, right?
Yeah, unitary measurement. Yeah, it costs rupees 1.68. So what would be the cost for 1 ounce of soup? That is 10.5. We'll just write a line over there. 10.5 is 1.68. I'll try to use a pen. Try again. Yeah, 10.5 cost 1.68. What is that 1 unit cost? 1 is how much? That is 1 divided by 10.5 multiplied by 1.68.
Yes.
1 divided by 10.5 multiplied by 1.68. That is also gives the same answer. Okay, but you are right. You are talking about the ratio and proportions. We should make sure that the units should be the same, even for the numerator and denominator.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So moving ahead. So we'll take a few more questions. Next example, an oil tank with a capacity of 200 gallons contains 50 gallons of oil. So there is an oil tank whose capacity is 200 gallons. That much is clear to us. There is an oil tank whose capacity is 200 gallons. In that the entire gallon is not filled. Only the 50 gallons of the oil is filled in that tank. So this is the data that we have. Otherwise, you take it as there is a 2-liter water bottle is there. In that 50 ml water is there. Only 50 ml water is there. That way you can reiterate this question. Now we'll see the questions. What we want to calculate over here. Find the ratio of the number of gallons of oil. Find the ratio of the number of gallons of oil in the tank to the capacity of the tank. Find the ratio of the number of gallons of the oil in the tank to the capacity of the tank. The capacity of the tank always comes in the denominator. So the capacity of the tank is 200. In that 200 capacity tank, how much is filled? It's filled only 50 gallons of the oil. So in finding the ratio of the number of gallons of the oil in the tank to the capacity of the tank, we'll write 50 divided by 200. That is the first question answer. Find the ratio of the number of gallons of the oil in the tank, which is already filled, to the capacity 50 divided by 200, which by cancelling 0 in the numerator and denominator, we'll have 5 divided by 20. With a 5 table, it will go 1 by 4. So the first question answer is going to be 1 by 4. Right. The next question. What part of the tank is full? What part of the tank is full? Out of 200 gallons of the capacity tank, only 50 gallons is filled. That means only the quarter part of the tank is filled. Only the quarter part of the tank is filled. What part of the tank is full means answer is the tank is full by 1/4. 1/4 of the tank is filled. So that completes the first question. Now moving on to the next question. Compute the ratio of 6.4 ounce to the 1 pound. Compute the ratio of 6.4 ounce to the 1 pound. Now the problem comes here. So there are two different units that are given. Ratio of 6.4 ounce to the 1 pound. 1 pound is a different measurement. Ounce is a different measurement. Since I am talking about the ratio, we should make sure that the numerator, the measurement and the denominator measurement both are the same. Same unit should be there, as one of our friends said. That is a rule. So I need to make either ounce to the pounds or pounds to the ounce. So what easy is that one thing we can remember: 1 pound is always is equal to 16 ounce. 1 pound is always is equal to 16 ounce. So what I can do is, in finding the ratio of 6.4 ounce to the 1 pound, 6.4 ounce I'll write, divide by 1 pound. I wanted to calculate over here 6.4 divided by. I'll replace this 1 pound with 16 ounce. Now the units has become the same. Numerator units and denominator units has become the same. 6.4 divided by 16, right? 6.4 divided by 16. Yeah. So one more thing that I'll just recollect over here. Whenever you are finding decimal part in any number, if you wanted to eliminate the decimal in that number, just to see how many decimal places were there. Here I am concentrating on the numerator part here. Just concentrate only on the numerator, 6.4 over here. Whenever you are finding a decimal part in a number, I wanted to eliminate the decimal part. So what I can do is, how many decimal places were there? There is only one decimal place here. One decimal place. So in order to eliminate that decimal place, I will be multiplying with 10. Similarly, divide by 10. So that the 6.4 will become 64. 6.4, when it is multiplied by 10, it would become 64. Right? Denominator we have 16. And 10 is also there. 16 into 10, 160. So therefore 64 divided by 160. Still simplification is possible with the tables that we know. So I wanted to make it as a simplified form. I can divide it by 32 both ways, because 32 becomes the common factor for 64 and 160. So if we are dividing by 32, numerator and denominator, we will get the answer as 2 by 5 is a simplified form of the ratio of 6.4 ounce to the 1 pound. So here we may get a bit confusion. How can we know that we should be dividing with the 32, highest common factor? Forget about that. 64 divided by 160, that much is enough for me. That much is enough as far as the basic part is concerned. But still, what we can do is we can use the 2 table. 64 and 160. We can use the 2 table. We'll go with the 2 table. We'll cancel out 32 divided by 80. We'll get again 32 divided by 80. We can still cancel with the 2 table. That way we can simplify. We'll get the answer as 2 divided by 5. Right? Can I move forward?
Sir, can we divide it by 80?
80 we can't divide, no, because 64 is a number which is lesser than 80, no?
Okay, sir.
Whenever you are dividing a number, always what you call that, dividend or what you call, that should be less than that one, no? Okay, otherwise we'll get the fractions like 6.4 like we have seen. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So moving on to the next question. I think it's a continued part. Suppose if you are using the calculator, on a calculator divide 6.4 ounce by 16 ounce. There is another question. Use a calculator, divide 6.4 ounce by 16 ounce. Whenever if you see this kind of questions, we'll have to see whether the units are the same or not. That is one important step that we need to take care. Ones, both are correct. So that usually I can go with the division. 6.4 will press on the calculator, divide by symbol will press, and then 16 will press. We'll get the answer as 0.4. We'll get the answer as 0.4. Now further, what they are saying, change the decimal to display it in a fraction form. Change the decimal, that is 0.4. After point, we'll be calling that those numbers are the decimal places. So what they are asking is, after doing this part, 6.4 dividing by 16, you will be getting the answer 0.4. You make this 0.4 as a fraction. As a fraction means I should see the numerator and denominator. So as of now, I have 0.4 only. So what I can do? Easy thing is, what I will do is,
Sir,
as I
will
mentioned,
you show it in unit ratio?
I'll show it in unit ratio. I'll show it in unit ratio. Unit ratio also we can do 0.4 divided by 1, that becomes a unit ratio. But as far as this question is concerned, yeah, that is also correct answer, no issue. Change the decimal into the display in the fraction form. Suppose if I ask the question, don't make it as a unit ratio, then what would be the outcome?
So it would be 0.4:1.
Yeah, 0.4:1, that becomes a unit ratio. That is also correct ratio.
No, I mean in fractions. I'll show it by the dots with 1.
Yeah, that is also correct answer, but I doesn't want you to keep the denominator as a 1. I mean, I wanted to make it as a ratio only, but not unit ratio. If that is the situation. Am I clear? Whatever you are saying, that is correct. 0.4:1, that is also correct answer. That is also a ratio. That is actually the unit ratio. That is actually the unit ratio. Suppose if I ask the question, don't show the answer. Don't make this 0.4 as something like A divided by B, in which B equal to 1.
So it would be 4/10.
It would be 4/10. As simple as such. You multiply 0.4 by 10 and divide by 10. So whenever you are multiplying 0.4 by 10, that 0.4 become 4. Denominator 10 would remain as such, 4 by 10. So 4 by 10, if you use that 2 table, we'll get the answer as 2 by 5. Right? So there are two answers. One is 0.4 divided by 1. Another answer is 2 divided by 5, or 2:5. Both are correct. So I think I could, go ahead to the next example. Yeah. So there is a mixed fraction. There is a concept of mixed fraction. So how to see these mixed fractions? Whenever if you see this kind of fractions, one near to the one, there are two numbers, 3 divided by 4, like 1/2, 1/3/4, 1/2, like this. These we used to call the mixed fractions. The mixed fraction rule is that it is like A multiplied by B by C form. A multiplied by B by C form. If you see this way, what you will do is, you multiply A with C. A, B by C form. A, B by C form. You multiply this A with C. That is, as far as this example is concerned, we will be multiplying 4 with 1. And then that answer, we will be adding 3 to that answer. I mean, 1/3/4 is actually means that if you wanted to make this mixed fraction the proper fraction, what we need to do is, we will have to multiply 4 with 1, that is 4, plus 3. 4 plus 3, that is 7. 7 divided by 4 is the proper fraction for this mixed fraction 1/3/4. 7 divided by 4 is the proper fraction for 1/3/4, mixed fraction 1/3/4. How we got this 7 divided by 4? 4 when it is multiplied by 1, answer is 4. 4, that answer I am adding with 3, 4 plus 3, that is 7, 7 divided by 4. Similarly, if you wanted to express this mixed fraction 1 half, 1 by 2 in a proper fraction, what I'll do, I'll be multiplying this 2 with 1, 2 times of 1, 2, add 1 to that, 2 plus 1, that is 3, divided by 2. So this is how we are going to do the mixed fraction to the proper fraction. There is another method how we got this mixed from proper fraction to the mixed fraction, that I'll take it some other time. Anyhow, we have learned that, but I'll make as far as this question is concerned, my concentration goes only on converting the mixed fraction to the proper fraction. I think you understood how to convert the mixed fraction to the proper fraction. Right. Now express the ratio in the simplest form. So what actually I want to do is I want to find the ratio of these two numbers, these two mixed fractions, 1 3 by 4 divided by 1 1 by 2. Proper form is 7 by 4 divided by 3 by 2, 7 by 4 divided by 3 by 2. 7 by 4 divided by 3 by 2, it is like A divided by B whole divided by C divided by D. A B divided by B divided by C divided by D. Whenever if you are finding this kind of fractions, what we will write is A divided by B multiplied by D divided by C. A divided by B multiplied by 2 divided by 3. So 7 by 4 multiplied by 2 by 3. So 14 divided by 12. With the 2 table, the simplified form is 7 divided by 6. So therefore the ratio of 1 3 by 4 to 1 1 by 2 in a simpler form, in simplest form, is 7 by 6, or otherwise 7:6. So moving on to the other questions. Let me take the first question. I think we could able to solve the first question only. We'll take the rest of the questions next class, but I'll ask you to try these questions. Actually, these questions are very interesting and simple also. Last week, Melina answered 24 out of 30 questions. There is a multiple choice kind of question paper is there. 30 questions were given. In that 30 questions, Melina has answered only the 24 questions out of 30. Right? And all the 24 questions were correct. There is no negative marking for that exam. Out of 30 questions, 24 questions were correct in the first test. The next week, another exam was conducted. Whereas in the next week, there were only 24 questions were asked in the question paper. Out of those 24 questions, 20 questions were correct. So I repeat, in the first test, Melina has answered 24 correct questions out of 30 marks paper. In the second test, Melina has answered 20 correct answers, 20 correct questions out of 24 questions. So now the question is, on which test did Melina have better result? On which test did Melina perform better? In the first test, the correct answers were 24 out of 30. So if you wanted to see this result in terms of the ratio, 24 divided by 30. 24 divided by 30. In the second test, 20 divided by 24. In the second test, 20 divided by 24. One easy way of answering this question is just use the calculator. 24 divided by 30. How much you got?
0.8. 0.8. Yes, sir.
The next second test, she has answered 20 questions out of 24. How much? 20 divided by 24. How much you got?
0.83.
How much? Can you repeat again?
0.83.
0.83. That is also important. You mentioned the decimal parts also. 0.83. In the first test, she has scored 0.8. In the second test, she has scored 0.83. Which one is a better number out of these two?
Second test.
Second
Second
test.
test. The answer is, answer to this question is, Melina has performed better in the second test compared to the first test. That is easy way of answering. Other approach is that 24 divided by 30, use the tables. Similarly, 20 divided by 24, use the tables, use the two table. You will be getting two different fractions. You compare to those two fractions, right? So that is how we can solve these kind of questions. So right now we have the 4 more minutes left for this class. I'll stop it here, but I'll request you to solve the remaining questions. We'll discuss the remaining questions answers in the next class. Now tell me if anything to clarify in this lecture. I'll try to clarify, otherwise I'll stop. So what we have learned in today's lecture, we have just learned the definition of a ratio. Given any two numbers, if you are expecting those two numbers in the numerator divided by denominator form, it is called a ratio. Just an add-on to that ratio definition, unit ratio means if you are finding denominator as a 1, that kind of ratio it is called a unit ratio. And using these concepts, you could able to solve few questions in finding in terms of the number of hydrogen atoms to the total number of atoms. This was one question that we have solved. So whenever if you are finding the ratio or proportion, we have to make sure that the units of the numerator and denominator are the same. That is one more note that we have taken from this class. Whenever if you are finding a decimal part in any number, if you wanted to eliminate that decimal, we'll have to multiply and divide with that many, like 0.4. If you wanted to eliminate a decimal here, I'll be multiplying with 10 and simultaneously dividing by 10. If you are having 0.48 there, then I would have multiplied with 100 and divided with 100, so that 0.48 will become 48. Okay, that is also one more thing that we have recollected. So that is all for today from my side. If anything to be clarified, please let me know. I'll try to clarify your doubts.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Are there any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah, no. So thank you then. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll meet again the next Tuesday. I think 12 o'clock we have class, no? 12 around. On the scheduled time, we'll meet again. But I request you to solve these questions. I'll be sharing these questions with you. PPTs also. Try to solve. We'll discuss those answers in the next class. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you everyone for joining. We'll meet on next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You may leave. You may leave. I'll have to just download your attendance and all those formalities for there. No? You may leave the class.